What up, my people? Y'all all right? Good day today. Cookies good. Lemon cookies. All right. Y'all, greetings to everybody. Grand rising, baby. You know what I'm saying? Positive energy, activate constant elevation. And may this divine communication enrich your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Add on to your positive mentality. You know what I'm saying? To where we secure, you know what I'm saying, in our spirit, you know what I'm saying? Always stand for the right thing, you know what I'm saying? And always prepared to be defenders of the good faith, you know what I'm saying? For real. Get ready to put together some of these words of wisdom that is always in season to carry into practice. Always utilize, you know what I'm saying, as a star seed, chosen one, indigo child, you know what I'm saying, what have you. You know what I'm saying? It's on the positive side of our willpower to do what's right, you know what I'm saying? And the divine scheme of things regarding the ways of the Most High. In light of that, right? The brother is thankful for all the good favor that I have in my life, the blessings that I have that I count. The brother don't take things for granted. Good things do come to those, you know what I'm saying, that are good, you know what I'm saying? So, in light, you know what I'm saying, of building about, you know, just some real talk, you know what I'm saying? You know, the struggle continue, baby. You know what I'm saying? You know, to stay in a winning position, you know what I'm saying, where you okay out here. You know what I'm saying? You know, free from the pain and the suffering. You know what I'm saying? And despite, you know what I'm saying, you know, hearing or seeing, you know, death and destruction out here, you know, it's always an opportunity to go the other way to avoid the death and destruction. Yet people get caught up in death and destruction, when actually, I think, you know what I'm saying, or even you may think, you know what I'm saying, they don't have to get caught up in death and destruction. You know what I'm saying? But yet, due to people, you know what I'm saying, ending up not using their head right, which is a primary importance to stay in control of, in terms of us having the instinctive chance, you know what I'm saying, to create a positive outcome, you know what I'm saying, for whatever we dealing with. Yet, we in a environment where we got to deal with certain societal aspects, to where it's inevitable that we deal with people where we just got to take care of our business out here. Not really thinking about the people we interacting with to take care of our business with, you know what I'm saying, out here in these corporations and institutions and industries and companies and these business establishments collectively as a whole dealing with interacting with people with business, you know, the spirit, you know what I'm saying, that they, you know what I'm saying, will have, you know what I'm saying, in some cases, they don't be, you know what I'm saying, they don't be pretty much copacetic, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, where they be people with problems, you know what I'm saying, they self to where they problems end up, they bring them at their workplace or whatever, you know what I'm saying, where they try to project negative energy on you, you know what I'm saying, and you don't have anything to do with whatever that is that they feeling some type of way about, you know what I'm saying, but spiritually, you know what I'm saying, we have to deal with things the way that we have to deal with them, you know what I'm saying, being smart at all times, you know what I'm saying. So as far as like us identifying with the principle to show the greatest of intelligence at all times, you know what I'm saying, through knowledge of self, you know what I'm saying, through our intelligent training, you know what I'm saying, from master teachers, you know what I'm saying, who put forth certain information for us to take into consideration to be able to be good with conflict resolution skills. You know what I'm saying? And in terms of like the study guides of the Nation of Islam, dealing with the community, you know what I'm saying, of self, so to speak, you know, the community of self. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge of self, you know what I'm saying, is the basis, you know what I'm saying, of proper development or community development. You know what I'm saying? Through having knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? To where, you know, we value enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the enlightenment that we value, we find ourselves staying in tune, you know what I'm saying, with certain higher consciousness or information in general, you know what I'm saying, that is helpful to us in a way to where we are effective in experiencing, you know, positive blessings in return, you know what I'm saying, due to our actions, you know what I'm saying, of being well cultivated, you know what I'm saying, being a civilized individual in an environment that may not be so civil or civilized. So it's a saying, what is the duty of the civilized individual? To teach the uncivilized civilization. So for the sake of me, you know, being before you with this transmission here, you know what I'm saying, through this portal of communication, each one teach one, you know what I'm saying, so we can be on our P's and Q's, you know what I'm saying, against the technology of the devils or devil in its singular or plural form, you know what I'm saying, because say for instance, like the term blessings in disguise, you know what I'm saying, things, you know what I'm saying, may be in disguise that look like maybe something I should stay away from. But mind you, pretty much every encounter of a situation or whatever is actually a learning experience. So, as far as that situation being a learning experience, it was a blessing for you to get that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? To make one wiser in terms of our growth and development of how we are to learn certain things so we can be master navigators in this environment we living in called life. Now, mind you, I want to talk about how Partner Bab, y'all know the master teacher, the beautiful master teacher, right? Once again, I am grateful for the opportunity to have the chance, you know what I'm saying, through soul searching, of course, through soul searching, you know what I'm saying, to really find information that was liberating and soothing to the nature in which I was created in, you know what I'm saying, on a spiritual level that helps me maintain my beautiful soul. You know what I'm saying? So every day is a good day, you know what I'm saying, to be conscious of one's soul health. You know what I'm saying? And keep it in remembrance that, you know what, I am somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I am not going to let this world, the unclean things of this world, cause me to be out of my true identity as far as my spiritual character of me being the highest manifestation of the Most High's creation. You know what I'm saying? It actually feels good to be in a comfort zone spiritually, where you can be of the great goddess or the Most High's business in a language you can understand. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get straight into some perspectives dealing with one of the scrolls the master teacher had, one of many eye-opening wake-up call scrolls that the master teacher, right, compiled. And this one is, Are There UFOs, Extraterrestrials in Our Midst? Now, we have a lot of conflicts going on in the world, and we have economic conflicts going on here in the United States of America, to where there's a lot of economic wars going on through our government right now, which has been going on for a long time, where you can go Google, you know what I'm saying, the United States debt clock, and see in real time certain number tabulations, you know what I'm saying, in real time, constantly running about the state of our country's current economy regarding its debt. Now, I heard Donald Trump mention some things about the country being out of debt. So, giving him credit where credit is due as far as him having mastery over certain business exercises, right? The reality of that United States debt clock, you know what I'm saying? Is that a something to throw us off, or is that something to properly educate us about the real state of affairs, about where monies is going, you know what I'm saying, regarding like taxpayers' dollars, right? Or as far as money being allocated to us as American people, right? We should really be doing very well. So somebody been playing with the economy in a way where the American people financially has been put on a back burner to receive what certain monies that's rightfully due us. Like, for instance, we got a lot of people on, like, say for instance, like when we be on our phones, we may be on Facebook, we may be on Instagram or TikTok, right? To where you may see an ad on there that is talking about, you know what? Y'all must be really stupid or y'all really slow or something if y'all don't respond to this $6,000 subsidy or this $5,000 subsidy opportunity or this $4,000 subsidy opportunity that you can claim from the government that they're giving out to everyone right now. You can, just click on a few answers, answer a few, click on the site, ask a few questions, you know what I'm saying, and be on your merry way and get your spending cards and things of this particular nature. But in reality, whoever got that kind of electronic attention grabbing artwork, you know what I'm saying, appears, you know what I'm saying, like it's innocent in nature, where it's about connecting you with a blessed opportunity to take care of some business by connecting with a supposed real site, right? Where it's informing you, where the government is blessing the people with these financial opportunities, right? For relief purposes. But yet, when you research and fact check them, they end up being scams, right? They end up being scams. So by them ending up being scams, you know what I'm saying? We got to be careful, of course, with who we give our information to on them sites, because notice how they always asking for information. Everything you click on, dang, they're asking you for your phone number, your address, your what, you know what I'm saying? Your pretty much where you open your phone up to a point where you can be tracked or something. You know what I'm saying? Repetitiously, continuously, on a continuous basis. Some always trying to keep tabs on your phone. You know what I'm saying? By you responding a certain way. Now they know everybody need money at all times. We can never be in a situation where we have too much money. We can never have too much money. You know what I'm saying? In the words of rich people, even say that, oh, there isn't a such thing of you being a person with money, you know what I'm saying, who got a lot, right? Where you it's no such things where you can never have too much money. When you got so much money, you know what I'm saying, you just good in life, you know what I'm saying? But guess what? The day-to-day struggles of the people who don't have that money, or who just make it day by day with a little of nothing and manage that, and still look at the bigger picture about what really matter regarding they souls being in tune and intact with the remembrance that what is it that a man and woman gain a soul, gain the world, and end up losing their souls. You know what I'm saying? Even for the rich people. You know what I'm saying? They be talking about, oh, them rich people was mean and demonic and satanic in mind, to where, you know what I'm saying, they operate in certain secretive ways to where ain't no telling what them people is capable of and what they doing as far as what they about and things of this nature. But as far as everyday people struggling to get by, you know what I'm saying, there's a certain emotional trigger about that kind of situation that breed a lot of stress. You know what I'm saying? Where people feel like, you know what I'm saying, if they don't have certain money, they feel really broken. Nobody wants them. Nobody want to deal with them. Nobody want to be around with them. You know what I'm saying? Like they are someone to be looked down upon, look down on. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have a certain level of money. You know what I'm saying? As a person, where you have women out here, you know what I'm saying, real quick to look at guys like if they don't have or if they don't have a certain status of money, you know what I'm saying, you not even worth their time. But they not worth your time. Like if you a real person and you just out here have an honest living condition situation going where it is what it is, but you a good person. You know what I'm saying? These small-minded women don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been conditioned, you know what I'm saying, by the image of the beast, to live in the image of the beast, where they don't care about the reality of what the real, you know what I'm saying, principles of God consciousness is about. You know what I'm saying? Where they see you as a soul, you know what I'm saying, that is living right, you know what I'm saying, despite your financial situation, you know what I'm saying, so-called these women of God, you know what I'm saying, who would see that particular reality about you, still reject you because they are the world too, fronting like, oh, you know what I'm saying, I'm about God, I got God in my life, this, that, and the third, but they really lying. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been conditioned by the great whore that sits on many waters. And they know they're a product of the great whore that sits on many waters. You know what I'm saying? That's full of backbiting, you know what I'm saying, with the girl talking behind men's back or talking about other females, you know what I'm saying, in certain ways because they full of jealousies and competition conscious in their minds, to where they hate to see a female, you know what I'm saying, a successful relationship with a man that they wish they had, you know what I'm saying, but they don't have the internal or psychological faculties, you know what I'm saying, to humble themselves, you know what I'm saying, and accept a good man for who he is and not a man, you know what I'm saying, based on what he got. Because that's all they doing out here. You know what I'm saying? Chasing a lot of men, you know what I'm saying, based on what they have. Fishing for a guy. They be out here, you know, fishing for a guy, you know what I'm saying, who they feel, who like how they say, they out here chasing the bag. You know what I'm saying? And the bags they be chasing, they may just have, you know what I'm saying, bags full of money. You know what I'm saying? But there's really a bag that's empty. Because a lot of these people, you know what I'm saying, they be soulless too. You know what I'm saying? But birds of a feather flock together. Like they say, to each his own. But it's just a matter of recognizing the games that be played out here. You know what I'm saying? Because players gonna play, right? Players gonna play. Players do what players do. You know what I'm saying? So when players do what players do, games be played. You know what I'm saying? So some people's hearts get broken. Some people's emotions get played with. You know what I'm saying? In them particular kind of games. But at the end of the day, it's all foolishness. You know what I'm saying? In the world of sport and play. You know what I'm saying? That distract you. You know what I'm saying? From the bigger pictures of the real world. You know what I'm saying? Because going into detail about, say for instance, right, we say for instance, like when we get in our teachings, right, Nuwapu, right, we delve into looking at the bigger pictures of the world and in life, right? At the same time, paying attention to the minute details, down to the details. You know what about the, you know why? Because in the details are connected to the bigger picture. So who want to keep you blinded from the minute details so you won't be able to see the bigger picture? They don't want you to see the picture at all. They don't want you to see the picture at all. While they continue to gain psychological advantage, you know what I'm saying, over the ignorant. Now, man, look, the evil one has a way to always, you know what I'm saying, keep his side, you know what I'm saying, of a bargain that he make, you know what I'm saying, full of dishonesty. You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of people who are product of a dishonest system that just don't play fair when it comes to treating people right because they like emotional turmoil in the environment. You know what I'm saying? So why was the warning in the scriptures telling us? Separate yourself from the unclean things of the world out here. What is it about the world that these ancestors warned us about, right? To the point where for us that's here now in the future, we get access to information like he telling us, you know, like a virtuous woman who can find a virtuous woman who can find. You know what I'm saying? Warning come before destruction. Separate yourself from the unclean things of the world, right? You know what I'm saying? It's better to be upright than to be low down and rotten. You know what I'm saying? What is it about these heads up messages, you know what I'm saying, that we have been warned about? Now, man, we here in this era of time that we living in, and we see all over the world certain things that's taking place that's a product of prophecies. Now wait a minute. Hold on for a minute. Let me get something right. I'll be right back. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm back. So this particular perspective, you know what I'm saying, that I was speaking on, really, it's like people, you know what I'm saying, make the world go round, right? But in the process of the world going round, you know what I'm saying, look at how the world is being affected by the causes that's causing it to go around, as far as the interactions of the peoples. Like in this our potential scroll in this our potential scroll the master teacher put together that asks this particular question, right? About a question being asked regarding people, right? What's wrong with people today, right? And the answer is quite simple. People simply don't think. Now, wait a minute. Right there, that's what certain forces got a lot of people, you know, like men by the balls and women by the ovaries. because they know they don't think. The master teacher told us to think is a gift. It is not to be misused or underused. But yet, we see due to a lot of self-destructive lifestyles of people, it is being misused. They thoughts, they thinking, and it's being underused because this life is a divine existence in which we are to realize one day, you know what I'm saying, before it's too late, like, you know what? My brain, the organs of my body, my physical body, my physical existence has spiritual counterparts that's connected to the astral plane, the ether world of the Etherians, dealing with frequencies, tones, vibrations, harmonics, molecules, things even beyond the quantum realm of physics, beyond quantum physics, and things of this particular nature. So wait a minute. My physical constitution connected with these spiritual counterparts, you know what I'm saying, is a revelation that, wait a minute, it's more to me that really meets the eye. So, to not be playing ourselves cheap on this planet, you know what I'm saying, we have to know that we are real valuable, right? Well, we have things money cannot buy. This ain't about money. Though we know we live in a physical, on this physical plane, where we have to deal with certain earth businesses, right? And where money is to be used as a tool, you know what I'm saying, as a medium of business exchanges and things of this nature. But yet, the bigger picture, right, is that we are God's having a human experience. You know what I'm saying? Who is of a cultural orientation. You know what I'm saying? That is geared toward bringing out the best in us. You know what I'm saying? As developing spiritual beings. So, in us being on that kind of frequency, our eyes become open. Our third eye become open to such a greater degree to where we will be able to comprehend certain downloaded information that we would receive from the mental reservoir that's connected to the Akashic records of the omniverses, the universes, the omniverses, the multiverses, the triverses, the dualverse, and the universe, right? With these infinite possibilities, you know what I'm saying, of certain spiritual meanings that's deeper than the ocean waters. You know what I'm saying? That's connected to an infinite continuous flow of intelligent energy that's connected to the 9 to the 9th power of 9 spiritual numbers, like the master teacher was telling us. 9 to the 9th power of 9 means, or it's a reflection of the conscious universal all existing gases, conscious gases that are a product of the mind of the all, meaning God or the Most High through natural nature as a divine mind. You know what I'm saying? That grew the universes, that's constantly growing and expanding. You know what I'm saying? So where do we have a place in this divine scheme of things? One, we have to think and use our minds, our brains, and cultivate our energy centers within our body that's known as the chakras, the chakra system. You know, that is a promoter of which is a basically a healthcare system. You know what I'm saying? That we cultivate. You know what I'm saying? That manifests healing in our physical and spiritual body. You know what I'm saying? But we are to have a healthy aura that reflect a healthy mind. You know, that's connected to spiritual energies that is structured around the positrons of the atoms. You know what I'm saying? As far as positive energy. Because positive energy do activate constant elevation, right? To where we maximize our development mentally to a maximum. You know what I'm saying? It's about enrichment and knowing who we are despite the blinders of being hoodwinked. You know what I'm saying? By certain forces that want to keep you distracted and away from yourself. So as far as you getting into a quiet place and get into your teachings to cultivate your kundalini and enrich your mind with healthy knowledge that's good for your mental health and your emotional health. You know what I'm saying? And your soul is soothing, you know what I'm saying, to know, you know what I'm saying, that you have become attracted to intelligent things where you stay away from the foolishness and the ignorance. This continued to read though about when the question was asked, what's wrong with people today? The answer to the question, right? And the answer is quite simple. People simply don't think. I want you to dwell on that, right? One thought for a moment and apply it to you and your life. One thought for a moment and apply it to you and your life. Think about that. One thought, right? It is about this that I want to talk to you about. We live in a time called Golden Age. Human beings have looked forward to and have dreamed that will come for centuries. Let me reread that. This is an era. We are living in a time called Golden Age. Didn't Donald Trump speak about us returning to the Golden Age? As far as him making America great again, regarding it being returned to the Golden Age. This is out of your potential scroll that I'm building from, right? Now, are Donald Trump and them getting certain ideas from our school of thought on the planet that's here for the permutation of the human species, dealing with the collective races and tribes and clans on the planet? You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? The master teacher always told us, right? Truth is truth. You know what I'm saying? No matter where it comes from, no matter what race the people are, that ascertain the truth, right? You know what I'm saying? If they if they able to embrace or handle the truth regarding Nuwabu, our true spiritual science, you know what I'm saying, as nine ether beings, talking about us, nine ether beings, right? Then it's okay. You know, once the truth get out here. So some people, you know what I'm saying, be in like conscious communities and things of this particular nature, be saying certain terminologies as if it came from them, where it seemed like these people be just trying to get attention for their own personal aggrandizement. You know what I'm saying? And not giving credit to where credit is due. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Pana Bab Yanun, baby. You know what I'm saying? But he still tell, you know what I'm saying, okay, those that lie and cheat and deceive, right? Come on up out of that trait. That ain't you. You know what I'm saying? What do you think you have to gain? Well, eventually, you know what I'm saying, the reality will manifest that the information came from Pana Bab Yanun. You know what I'm saying? Who is our Pharaoh of this era and time, not in a negative light like Christendom, of Christism, you know what I'm saying, narrated about the Pharaoh of the book of Genesis, or in the scriptures of the Bible, the first 5 books, the Torah of the Bible, the Old Testament, right? You know what I'm saying? When Panabab Yanun is the supreme grand hierophant, you know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to Masonic lodges, he come to set the record straight. You know what I'm saying? So for this particular right knowledge, you know what I'm saying, for us Nubian people, you know what I'm saying, to get, you know what I'm saying, and transform our minds, and when we let our minds be transformed through the renewing of our mind through the Holy Spirit, and through the Holy Spirit of these teachings, right? When we start articulating this particular right knowledge, it converts into what I'm coining holy breath, which is actually, I'm just saying that in terms of holy breath, but I learned that from Noble Drew Ali regarding the holy breath, right? From the teaching of Noble Drew Ali regarding the holy breath. So basically, this whole transmission is about holy breath. You know what I'm saying? That break the psychological chains of slavery off of the listener. You know what I'm saying? Whatever nationality or color you may be. Because our supreme teachings regarding the mission, you know what I'm saying, that the master teacher came with through the opening of the 7th seal, right? There is no more secrecy. You know what I'm saying? There is no more secrecy. Truth will be made plain. Like the Elijah Muhammad was speaking about certain prophecies and realities about the message of the messenger being right and exact. You know what I'm saying? Regarding the books that he wrote for us as black people to wake up to where our eyes was to be open. Just like the master teacher, his mission is to open our eyes, which is something that he did. So by him helping us get to a point where, wow, you know what, we done woke up, our eyes is open to certain realities. Now, you know what I'm saying, we can hold our own in terms of standing on our own 2 feet, where we had crawled with the knowledge to the point where now we are learning how to walk with the knowledge as gods, to be the gods that we was born to be, that we are born into being. We was born gods, but yet our thoughts have gotten scrambled up to where we develop a particular falsified consciousness. That word right there is very important. A falsified African consciousness, a falsified belief system, to where a certain history of people that was involved with this brainwashing process of our people, right, was connected to certain history, like that book, The One World Tartarians, was talking about them beings, what they call Cabbage Patch Kids, that was on them orphan trains, who didn't have biological parents or where they wasn't even adopted into certain families. But yet, where did those orphan train kids go to? You know what I'm saying? So it's certain circles from certain research that can elaborate in more detail about these things that came to light about those orphan children. You know what I'm saying? So as far as Panabab Yanun, though, step by step, with clarity of mind, because it's encouraged that we keep our minds healthy, we keep our mind clear, we keep our heads clear, we keep our thoughts clear. You know what I'm saying? Where we can think clear. You know what I'm saying? And not have our mind clouded. You know what I'm saying? With the not have our minds clouded with misinformation. That's why it's a such thing as being deprogrammed. We have to relearn a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Because how our ancestors operated, you know what I'm saying? It appears that, you know what I'm saying, they was like superheroes of like on the movies that they show through the DC Marvel comics and stuff like that. The real movies, you know what I'm saying? Even the comic books or cartoons, but I'm talking about not the animated, whether animated or the cartoons, but we talking about the real images or the real people who portray these certain superheroes, you know what I'm saying? That in reality is our culture, you know what I'm saying? As far as us activating certain centers within ourselves, you know what I'm saying, that if we had knowledge of and really was in a certain sacred space pretty much to activate these particular kind of powers within us, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we will be able to fly and do all these particular kind of things because it's a method called through like generating certain energies within our chakra system, to where we can like generate certain energies within our bodies to where we would like turn into pure light, you know what I'm saying, and develop something called a Merkaba, to where we will look like those, what they were showing, what they call them plasma, what they call them, plasma in the air that was like recently, you know what I'm saying, that was reported flying around in New Jersey a few weeks ago, you know what I'm saying, and those particular kind of realities, right? But due to us living in this golden time or golden age right now, back to that point though, just continue to read. Now, remember when we heard Donald Trump talking about he trying to return us to the golden age. This the same language that Panabab Yanun, Dr. Malachi York, right? Asai Issa Al Hadi Sayyid Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi is enunciating through his writings. This continue to read, right? We live in a time called Golden Age. This is an era that human beings have looked forward to and have dreamed that will come for centuries. Some people been knowing about this golden age. It appears the master teacher know about it, but we wasn't taught this lingo outside of him. You know what I'm saying? So the master teacher is indeed who he say he is regarding being our reformer. So our thoughts may be reformed into a more superior spiritual psychology and scientific mindset through our spiritual science, right? Now, we live in a time called Golden Age. This is an era that human beings have looked forward to and have dreamed that will come for centuries. But since it's here, right, you pretty well take it for granted. You're in the Western world, talking about us, here in the wilderness of North America, right? The Western world. That is a particularly fortunate country. Now, we know this is a superpower we in, our beautiful home, the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? Regarding us copper-colored people that's indigenous to this land, that have treaties, you know what I'm saying, with the European settlement of this government system, you know what I'm saying, which is a corporation dealing with the United States Corporation or United States of America, District of Columbia, and things of that particular nature, right? Still, this is our country. This is our home. We love it. You know what I'm saying? We won't want to see ourselves. Look, a house divided cannot stand all the bickering and then fighting going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like a family feud in America. You know what I'm saying? It's full of families, you know what I'm saying, that's bickering and fighting, disappointed. Some satisfied about this or whatever, some dissatisfied about whatever, but it's still dissatisfaction and feuding and arguing and fighting going on to where they not thinking on the golden age that we living in. So to get the attention of the people to this information that put our minds in proper order, right? Regarding the golden age that we living in, right? May it help set the record straight for us all to benefit from these positive times, away from the greed of the reptilians. You know what I'm saying? And the grays, we're going to get to the grays and the reptilians a little later. So for right now, though, let's continue to read with this regarding this golden age. Now, but since it's the golden age, but since it's here, you pretty well take it for granted. You're in the Western world that is a particularly fortunate country to live in the richest land that ever existed, right? On the face of the earth is by far a gift. To have lived in Egypt, right? The greatest of all is the gift of gifts. Now, remember this. Remember when, hold on, let me see, I know I got it scroll somewhere around here. Look, Egypt of the West, the gift of gifts, where it helped us to develop illuminated mind states, right? Regarding the true teachings in terms of being reconnected with our greatness, right? Knowing who we are, right? Now watch this. Watch this. knowing who we are, right? You're in the Western world. That is a particularly fortunate country, right? To live in the richest land that ever existed on the face of the earth is by far a gift. To have lived in Egypt, the greatest of all, is a gift of gifts. But what did ignorant forces do regarding certain so-called law enforcement forces did in Georgia on the land down there with the Tamaray of the West, which is a gift of gifts to the world and the richest country in the world. One of the richest, the United States of America. And what did they do? Block their own blessings. When we are a blessing to the world through the enrichment, through the opening of the seventh seal to get rid of the diseases of the mind and human condition and of the hearts of men and women, because think about it, like the Holy Quran was saying, and a lot of people's hearts out here are diseases. What the Bible was saying. You have people out here who have hearts that, where the imagination of their hearts is evil continuously, where he put on blast, you know what I'm saying, the seed of the devil, to where they are of they father the devil, and the lust of their fathers they shall do. So as far as certain forces of jealousy and enviness, you know what I'm saying, trying to get in the way of the spiritual path, you know what I'm saying, on beings, you know what I'm saying, who is fortunate to get this blessed opportunity, right? You know what I'm saying? Through the gift of gifts, Egypt of the West, Tamaray of the West, right? The teachings have survived despite them physically tearing down the Tamaray or doing some destructive things to the land on Tamaray. The spirit is alive and well and even more strong, more stronger, which can't be stopped, because due to the earth's changes, we are evolving into what's called an alignment time. It's a time of alignment, you know what I'm saying, for this sun cycle to manifest what it's supposed to manifest throughout the universe and in natural nature connected with us nine-ether beings. Can't nothing stop this transformation. You know what I'm saying? Can't nothing stop this transformation. So we continue to advance through our thoughts being properly protected, you know what I'm saying, through securing our intellect with the right knowledge, you know what I'm saying, that keep us in our right mind. Now, for instance, right, to live in the, now, look at this though. You're in the Western world that is a particularly fortunate country to live in the richest land that ever existed on the face of the earth. Is by far a gift to have lived in Egypt, right? The greatest of all is the gift of gifts, and the land abundant with opportunities for everyone, right? But look at the turmoil people going through, you know what I'm saying, in this rich environment, the United States of America, connected to the Egypt of the West, you know what I'm saying, our true culture regarding the ancient Egyptian order, you know, of us today, who is living embodiments of the biggest secrets, you know what I'm saying, that certain like Masonic orders keep. You know what I'm saying? But yet, this is an era of, through the opening of the seventh seal, where there isn't any more secrets. The secrets really, you know what I'm saying, lead to us being the gods and goddesses of the universe. You know what I'm saying? The makers, the owners, the creams of the planet Earth, gods and goddesses of the universe. You know what I'm saying? So, now, a land abundant with opportunities for everyone. But yet, look at the condition of a lot of have-nots, you know what I'm saying, in the country. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? A land abundant with opportunities for everyone. So, someone is in playing fair, which is how the devil's seed operate, right? Out of greed, lust, jealousy, enviousness, selfishness, you know what I'm saying? Trick, knowledge, mind games, you know what I'm saying? Expose something to you without the intent to give it to you, yet they got it, hoarding it all for themselves, you know what I'm saying? While other people starving. When we live on a planet of abundance, when, just like the saying go, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, right? But yeah, you connected with certain institutions who claim to be of God. You know what I'm saying? We all supposed to be eating off the fat of the land. This is, look, the health and healing of the planet is going to come through us thinking right out here. You know what I'm saying? People got to get out of them reckless behavior patterns. You know what I'm saying? Reckless activities that they be doing where they put certain low vibratory energies in the atmosphere. That's why when the master teacher was like, the spell of sleep or the hypnotic spell of Kingu is in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So he was like the best way, like the best way to like breathe in the cleanest air is like early in the day before everybody start getting up in the morning, you know, getting up during the day and get their day going. Because by like maybe like 12 o'clock or something like that, the atmosphere changes because of the habits, you know, of stuff that start going in the air, whether we know it or not, that we breathe in. So the freshest air is during a time when like it appear like everything is resting. You know what I'm saying? That's the best time to go and get like fresh air and breathing in the freshest air that we'll be able to get through the course of the day during them kind of time periods. So back to this though, regarding many things, like for instance, this being a land abundant with opportunities for everyone, right? Many things that the Masonic Shrine, Eastern Star, and Shriner ladies do, right? Many things that they do, right? We would not be able to do or execute in any other country. Why is that? Many of our accomplishments and growths are made by strong effort and determination, with which the same effort and determination in Arab lands could not happen. Whether it's in Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Egypt today, or wherever, especially in an Islamic country. If you wish to establish yourself, you couldn't. Now, do you know what happens? Look at it this way. Let's just take 1,000 men or women who started at the same age of 25. Do you have any idea what will happen to those men or women by that time they are 65? Better yet, let's make it 100 men or women to simplify it, right? these 100 men or these 100 men or women who all start at the age of 25 believe they are going to be successful through being someone, right? If you ask someone of these men and women, do you want to be a success? He or she will simply tell you yes. And you know what? That he or she is eager towards life. And that he or she feels deep in his or her heart that he or she is going to accomplish something. You see a certain sparkle in his or her eyes. You see a certain directness in his or her character. And life seems like a pretty interesting adventure for him or her. However, by the time they are all 65 years old, one will be rich, will be financially independent, right? One will be rich, four will be financially independent, five will still be working for someone else, and 90% of them will be broke. Now think a moment. One of the 100, only 5 made the grade. Now why do so many people fail? What has happened? What happened to that sparkle that was there when they were 25? What becomes of the dreams, the hopes, the plans? And why is there such a large and desperate group of failures instead of those who succeed? What do they need? What happened to what these people intended to do and what they actually accomplished? When we say 5% achieve success, we have to define exactly what the word success is. And here is the best definition I have ever been able to find. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. Pause here for a moment to think. Now listen. I have said this to you many times. If a person is working toward a predetermined goal and knows where he is going, or she, that person is a success. If he is not doing that, he is a failure. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy idea. So remember that, right? Now I want you to think upon the problem. You're taught to think and believe that the opposite of courage. You're taught to think and believe that the opposite of courage in any society in the world is cowardliness. And this is not true. The opposite of courage is conformity. And there you have the trouble today. It's conformity. People acting like everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Where's your own individual style through you acting on your own free will individual impulse to act, instead of being influenced by people around you in your life, you know what I'm saying, that you influenced by, that got you stuck. You know what I'm saying? When you can fly like an eagle. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have the ability to do. Fly like an eagle as an adult. But due to a lot of programming in us, it caused a lot of us to stay stuck on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Well, we thinking, you know what I'm saying, like a whole nother species that's made to stay on the ground. But you were eagle. You know what I'm saying? Where you can actually fly above them circumstances that try to keep you on the ground. You know what I'm saying? As far as just tapping into who we really are, being our true self. You know what I'm saying? Without knowing, now, without knowing, okay, this goes, okay, people acting like everyone else without even knowing why, without knowing where they are going. Now, think on this. In America, right, there are over 18 million people 65 years and older. And most of them are broke. They are dependent on someone else's ideas, lifestyles, programs, and necessities. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, when one is born, he or she is not born a doctor. He or she is not born a lawyer, right? A teacher or leader. He is just born a being. And Destiny says that this being will grow. And if there are no deficiencies in the flow of intellect, utilization of sight, sound, taste, and feel, this person is constantly being educated or programmed by his or her environment. Therewith, if the environment is not geared toward a progressive growth, then this person will be ungrown and unprogressive. If the environment is steered toward progressive growth and the person's senses are all acting, they will be grown. There will we of Masonic, Shrine Eastern Star, and Shriner ladies are setting up an environment that is progressive for the growth of mentally stable children, or by you being a conscious individual within your own household. You create an environment that is conducive for progressive growth. You know what I'm saying? Real growth and progressiveness. Even in the community amongst yourself. You know what I'm saying? Being who you are, right? Now, however, you have accepted that in most cases, you have been programmed through television, through music, through styles, through diets, through environment. And all of these are the products of the history of the environment or country that you are in. So by people being a product of the country that they are in, you have these particular type of successes and failures. You are taught to think less than the best of yourselves. If you are to bring about a change, then you must change your environment, your beliefs to facts and truth. Instead of just believing things, you gotta, embrace real facts of life. You must change what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you smell, and what you feel. You know what I'm saying? So for spiritual purposes, you know what I'm saying? That's real talk. You know what I'm saying? Positive energy, really activate constant elevation. You know what I mean? So being progressive, you know what I'm saying, comes through proper knowledge of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Proper knowledge of self. Being progressive. This is what's worthy of our time. If you are bringing about a change, then you must change your environment, your beliefs to facts. You must change what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you smell, and what you feel. If you bring into this new life, this newborn life, as proclaimed, you must overcome, not come over. That is, you must lead, not follow. Be who and what you are. You know what I'm saying? So, to my viewers, you know what I'm saying? To my people out here, you know, so much till you be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Get knowledge of self and be the best you can be. You know what I'm saying? And stay on the path and don't get off of it for nobody, because that is where the real fulfillment in life is going to come from. You know what I'm saying? Staying true to yourself. If we accept the fact that you are becoming what you really are, and therewith are being shaped, then you must come as a child or children to be reared about self and reinformed to reutilize your senses for the new environment, you know, that we are in, the new environment that allow us to have room for real growth and real progressiveness, right? If you don't do this, then if you don't do this, then you have conformed. And if you conform to a failing society, then you are destined to be a failure. Think about that. If you don't put yourself in a progressive environment, if you don't do this, then you have conformed to that non-progressive environment. You know what I'm saying? And if you conform to a failing society, right, then you are destined to be a failure. So, for instance, how President Trump, right, is creating an environment for America to be a progressive society, or to grow in a progressive environment that stimulate positive changes in the political circles, right? The political circles getting this message that I'm sharing right now. This is for y'all too. I'm going to read this again. Now, let me take it back. Look, regarding if we all, right, if we accept the fact that you are becoming what you really are, right, and therewith are being shaped, then you must come as children to be reared about yourselves and reinformed to reutilize your senses for the new environment, right? In this golden age, which sure is an environment of higher consciousness and social behavior that is in alignment with what's considered civilized people, you know, whose duty is to teach the uncivilized civilization. If you don't do this, then you have conformed. And if you conform to a failing society, then you are destined to be a failure in that society. So failure is not an option to us Nuwapians. Failure is not an option to us Nubian starseeds or black people that's in our right minds. Failure is not an option, for our representatives in office that is in alignment with these high ideas, to where we all is taking part in creating a new environment where progress and growth, real growth, can take place through this proper, educated information that will help bring about positive changes. The black population in the Western Hemisphere and in many other parts of the world is subject to an inferior doctrine, right? Now listen to this. The black population in the Western Hemisphere and in many other parts of the world have been subjected to an inferior doctrine. Now, think about that, like information control that I was speaking of in other posts that I had did, right? About the information control. Now, the inferior information is done that way by design, called misinformation. You know what I'm saying? That falsify the consciousness of the person that get the misinformation, because it's not rooted in truth. It's just rooted in beliefs that the information, is believed to be real. You know what I'm saying? Without the information being researched, investigated, you know what I'm saying, or experienced, you know what I'm saying, to be as the truth. So a lot of people still gullible out here can't allow themselves to be gullible. See, our brains is very powerful. Our minds is very powerful. The spiritual capabilities that we have is very powerful, right? Now, regarding this perspective, the black population in the Western Hemisphere and in many other parts of the world is subject to an inferior doctrine. They are bred by way of the media to feel inferior. Therewith, they'll be inferior. They are bred to feel they are enslaved. Therewith, they are enslaved, right? So the greatest of all cowards, the opposed of all courage, is to conform. So when we have a resistance inside of us against oppression, we don't want to conform to oppression. We don't want to suppress or hold down our feeling to have an instinct to want to be free from something that is unfair or some kind of bad treatment. We're going to get loud with our voices and speak against such things, you know what I'm saying, such as oppression. So why would I want to conform, you know what I'm saying, to something that is abusing and misusing me? That's insane. That's insanity. So anybody in their right minds, you know what I'm saying, is going to buck against that, fight against that, resist that, against that. You're going to have a resistance against that. But yet, a person can be like certain, like the Willie Lynch processes that a lot of our ancestors undergone, and a lot of our people still to this day psychologically undergone, you know what I'm saying, who has been beaten into submission. you know what I'm saying, by a sadistic mind. You know what I'm saying? That get pleasure from abusing others. You know what I'm saying? To the point where the the person they doing bad treatment to, right, becomes broken to where they don't resist. They give in and conform. Like he was just saying in here, the biggest cowards in life are those who conform. And I concur. I agree. That make perfect sense. Now think about this. So the greatest of all cowards, the opposed of all courage, is to conform. And you wonder why there is a justifiable reason for us to be revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? And I represent that. I am a revolutionary who is for complete constructive change mentally of the mind, to get the twisted programming up out of me. You know what I'm saying? So I can be made whole through healthy spiritual information and teachings that will enable me to be in, you know what I'm saying, the right comfortable spirit that I'm supposed to be in for my own self. You know what I'm saying? So regarding, and that should go for y'all too. You know what I'm saying? Against the foolishness of these brainwashed teachings to enslave. You know what I'm saying? So, and us getting the psychic self-defense against that, you know what I'm saying, we demolish the negativity that might try to exist in our cipher. You know what I'm saying? Which, see, first of all, look, being good stewards and tillers of this land is what the earth always need, right? So being in conformity with the revolutionary aspects of life about justice and things of this particular nature and real love, you know what I'm saying? That's a product of being rightly guided and being connected to the fruits of the spirit that's of the Most High, right? Now, we know, you know what I'm saying, the attributes of the Creator, you know what I'm saying, is benevolent. But the wrath of the Most High can be extremely deadly as well. So, regarding certain karmic retributions, you know what I'm saying, that is to take place in the earth, you know what I'm saying, through natural nature of the divine mind of the Most High, right? You know, we have to stay away from the negative karmas of the world, staying on the righteous path, you know what I'm saying, and stay in tune, you know, with the vision of the divine mind, you know what I'm saying, through these prophecies that we're living in right now. So, to continue to add on, you know what I'm saying, that perspective of not conforming to enslavement. This right here, right, regarding, like when he was saying to conform to a failing society means that in due time you are destined to fail. You are destined to fail. You know what I'm saying? By conforming to elements of failure in your environment that you're not saving yourself from. Come out of her, my people. Be ye separate. For real, dog. Look, but to break the conformity, much like I have by setting up our tabernacle, our temple, right? Our own society, our own educational plan, our own language called Nuwapic, means that we taking the courage to stand over, not under others. Because you got forces out here trying to make us feel inferior to them with some kind of inferiority complex. No, 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 no. Nah. We know who we are. You know what I'm saying? We stand over those concepts and people. We not under nobody. You know what I'm saying? We stand as giants. You know what I'm saying? We stand as mental giants, spiritual giants of the cosmos. We know who we are as a golden race. Now, to stand for our natural born rights, right? And let's read this again. Now, as far as breaking away from conformity, right? Like he had said here, to conform to a failing society means that in due time you are destined to fail. But to break the conformity, much like I have, by setting up our own tabernacle, our own society, our own educational plans, our own ancient language called Nuwapic, means that we've taken the courage to stand over, not under others, to stand for our natural born rights. You don't petition for simple or equal rights until you feel that you don't have them. So no one on the face of the earth can give you equal or simple rights. If you don't first realize who you are and what you are, and that predetermines goals for the future, stop and think for a moment. We learn to read by the time we are 7 years old. We learn to make a living by the time we are 25 years old. And usually by that time, we're not only making a living, but we're supporting a family. And yet, by the time you are 65 years old, you haven't learned how to become financially independent. Right? In one of the richest countries in the world. Why? Because you conformed. And the trouble is that you're acting like the wrong percentage group. The 95% group who don't succeed. Now, why does 95% of people conform? Think. I pause because I want your mind to work. I want it to tumble, get the wheels turning. Now, the reason is to survive. You're under the impression that in order to survive, you must swim in the direction that the waves are going or apparently going. This is not true. Why have 95% conformed? Most of them really don't know. These people believe their lives are shaped by circumstances and the things that happen to them by the external or outside forces. Their outer direction or their outer direction or They're what they call outer directed people. A survey was made one time that covered a lot of working men. These men were asked, why do you work? And I'm sure if the same survey was taken of a Masonic shrine, Eastern Star, or Shriner ladies, if we walked around and surveyed and asked, why are you working? They really won't have a good answer other than to pay my bills. Notice how in life, right, people hardly enjoying themselves for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? To pay your bills, if that's what you existing for, to just pay bills. You know what I'm saying? It's more to life. See, the architects who designed this system to be of a certain way, you know what I'm saying, have did a lot of things that's unnatural. We in the land of the living. So in this cycle of life, or in this era of time we living in, you know what I'm saying, we have been affected by adverse forces who are going against the grain of, oh my goodness, who is going against the grain of nature, and having people living in falsehood. Like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said, that falsehood go against the grain of the brain. Like going against the grain of wood surface. You know what I'm saying? It helps destroy the beauty of the mind. So be careful of what things we feed our minds. That's rooted in falsehood that will help destroy the beauty of our minds. That go against the grain of our minds. So if the right knowledge and the knowledge itself that don't go against the grain of our mind help beautifies the mind and keep it smooth without the grain of the mind being going against. So truth is indeed good for our minds, right? And it's a science to the truth, because truth is what makes us solid. Lies has a foundation that is on shifting sands that can get blown away in the wind real easily, like a house of cards. You know what I'm saying? So, regarding the master teacher, right, talking about these perspectives. Hold on 1 minute. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this right. I'm back, right? Thought I had to reorganize something. Now, regarding us knowing, having goals, you know what I'm saying? Like how the reading material here is asking this particular question about, like asking a person like what is your reason for doing what you doing in life, period. You know what I'm saying? Like this going on to read, right? Like the question asks here, why do you get up in the morning? You know what I'm saying? 19 out of 20 brothers and sisters will have no idea. If you ask them, they'll say, well, everybody else goes to work in the morning. And that's the reason they do it. Right? That's the reason why they do it. These are the types of answers you would hear. Right? They think because everyone else is doing it. Right? They think because everyone else is doing it, they believe that they are working the course of themselves, mainly to survive, to get by each day, and you and do what they consider their part in this mission. Who will succeed? The only person who will succeed is the person who is progressively realizing a worthy idea. He or she is the person who said, I am going to become this, and then began to work toward that goal. I'll tell you who the successful person are. A person is the school teacher who is teaching school because that's what she wants to do. She wanted to do. Success is the brother or sister who goes out each day after morning prayer with the intention to succeed in propagating the message of the Heavenly Father or the Mother Goddess, the Great Mother Goddess, and to spread the good news through the many different scrolls. This brother and sister who sets goals says, I am going to Queens. I'm going to Jamaica Ave or here in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to the west side, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna propagate on the east side, what have you. I am going to this place and that place, and I am going to do it by such and such time. This person will succeed because he or she sets out a goal and he or she sets out to accomplish it. The successful woman or wife or mother is successful because she wants to become a wife, a mother, and is doing a good job at it. Success is anyone who is doing deliberately a predetermined job, because that is what he or she decides to do deliberately. However, only 1 out of 20 do that. That's why today there isn't really many competition. There isn't really any competition unless we make it for ourselves. Instead of competing, all we have to do is create. Think about that for a moment. For many and many years, I looked for the key that would determine what type would what type for many years I looked for the key that would determine what would become of human beings. Like what he's saying is true, for instance, like once upon a time, right, I set out to accomplish a goal. I wanted to go to beauty school to become a hairdresser, a cosmetologist. And before I could do that, I had to get a diploma, which I ended up getting before I entered registering for the beauty school, right, here in Detroit. And the beauty school was a good, resourceful beauty school that I even like to this very day. And the name of the school is called PNA Scholars on the West Side, right? So even though, I live on the East Side, still, I made it to the necessary classes that I had to attend to graduate every day. You know what I'm saying? Until I accomplish my goal to become certified in the field of cosmetology, right? In terms of having a goal, a predetermined goal to pursue and accomplish. You know what I'm saying? In addition to creating, you know what I'm saying? I'm real creative in terms of like songs that I make. You know what I'm saying? I'm a hip hop head as well. I make music, you know what I'm saying? And I got a numerous amount of songs that I done made, being creative to where I create. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage y'all, utilize y'all gifts and talents to create something, you know, that will enable you to be successful. You can do it. I can do it. You can do it. You know what I'm saying? So for many, many years, right, the master teacher say, I look for the key that would determine what would become of human beings. And another thing, you know what I'm saying, as far as like, I'm multi-talented myself. To a degree, I can relate to the master teacher to where, you know, he was speaking about how, like, how for some people, everything they touch turned to gold like him. You know what I'm saying? I kind of got a feel, or I got a certain, I got a frequency of that. Like, it's like I feel like that mojo as well. You know what I'm saying? To a degree in my life, right? Where, like, he's speaking on these perspectives here. Like, for many, many years, I look for the key that would determine what will become of human beings. Was there a key? I want to know which would make the future a promise that we could foretell to the longer extent. Was there a key that could guarantee a person becoming successful if he only knew about, if he only knew about it, if he only knew about it and knew, of course, how to use it? Well, there is such a key, and I found it. Have you ever wondered why so many men or women work so hard and honestly without even achieving anything in particular, and others don't seem to work hard, yet they seem to get everything, right? They seem to have the magic touch. You have heard them say, anything I touch turns to gold. That is what people say about me. Everything he touches turns to gold. And if you have ever noticed that the man or woman who becomes successful tends to continue to become more successful, and on the other hand, you have noticed how the man or woman who is a failure seems to continue to fail. Wow. Well, it's because of goals. Some of us have goals and some of us don't. People with goals succeed because they know where they are going, and it's just that simple. They are the real deal. Think of a ship leaving a harbor, and think of it with a complete voyage map out and planned. The captain and the crew knows exactly where it's going, and each knows how, and each knows his job well, and how long it's going to take to get there. It is a defined goal. Now, 9 times out of 10, it will get to where it's starting to go, right? 9 times out of 10, it will get to where it started to go. Think on that for a minute. Now let's take another ship just like the first. Only let's not put a crew on the ship or a captain who really knows what they are doing, right? They dress and look the part, but they are not the real deal, right? They just look the part, right? Where they lack knowledge on how to successfully steer the ship. You know what I'm saying? Yes, wow. Let's give it no aiming point, no goal, no destination, right? We just start we just start the engine and let it go. I think you'll agree with me that if it gets out of the harbor at all, it will probably sink or wind up on some deserted beach somewhere. It can't go any place because it has no destination and no real guidance. So having real guidance will help us safely getting to our destination and accomplishing our goals. That's why proper preparation prevent poor performance, right? It is the same with human beings. Take a brother or sister, for example. There is no other person in the world today with the future of a good salesperson. There is no other person in the world today with the future of a good salesperson selling in the world. And if you are good at it and you know where you are going, everybody needs a top-notch salesperson. The reward for those men and women is the sky. There is no limit of what he or she can accomplish. But how do you find a good salesperson? One sells because he or she wants to. Because he or she has a goal. Because he or she is selling something he or she has faith in. How? Someone once said the human being is fixed not to prevent the strong from winning, but to prevent the weak from losing. Listen, not to prevent the strong from winning, but to prevent the weak from losing. It's not so much in the business of surviving. It's not who you please. It's who you don't hurt or who you don't displease that makes one a successful salesperson. It's not whether or not your product record is pleasing to different races. It's that your product does not displease different races. This makes it marketable. Think. Our society and its economy, meaning our organization today, can be likened to a convoy or a guide in a time of war, meaning a whole group of soldiers know the destination. The economy of our society is slowed down to protect its weakest link, just as the convoy has to go at the speed that would permit the slowest vessel to remain in formation. Do you understand that? By that I mean there are people who are crossing this desert with us who are or have been wounded before they came to us. And therefore all of us healthy soldiers who are marching on forward at the top speed, working to our fullest potential and utilizing all available potential are being stiffened because we must wait for these mentally, emotionally crippled people. Therewith, the whole caravan has to limp to keep up with them. Think about that for a moment. Now, that's why in this organization, it appears to be so easy to live from day to day. I am not talking about your needs. I'm talking about your ability to communicate with each other, because it takes no particular brains or strategy. There's no competition. Therefore, it makes living quite easy. I disagree. I think any society that has goals and deadlines should create competitions. It should create success, and therefore the individuals in the society has to set their own goals and succeed in leaps and bounds. And therewith the whole organization will succeed. But we have to first decide how high above the plateau we want to aim. Now let's get back to the title of this Scroll Your Potential. The story that I want to tell you is, why do men and women with goals succeed in life, and men and women without them fail in life? Well, let me tell you something which, if you really understand, it will alter your life immediately. If you understand completely what I am going to tell you from this moment on, your life will never be the same again. You will suddenly find that good luck just seems to be attracted to you. And the things you want just seem to fall in line. And from now on, you won't have the problems, the worries, the anxieties that perhaps you were experiencing before. No doubt and fear, they will be able, no doubt and fear, they will all be things of the past. Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about. Proverbs 23:7 says it clearly. For as he thinketh in his heart, or as she thinketh in her heart, so shall he or she be. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Or as she thinketh in her heart, so shall she be. Throughout all history, the great wise men, teachers, philosophers, and prophets have disagreed with one another on many different things, right? It is only on this point that they are in complete unanimous agreement. I brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and with nothing must accomplish it, and with nothing can resist. A person is what he or she thinks about all day long, right? Where Proverbs 23 says so clearly, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Or as she thinketh in her heart, right? So is she, or so shall they be. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he, right? And same for women. The great discovery of all generations is that a human being can alter their lives by altering their attitudes and minds, right? Read the scrolls by the master teacher. If you only care, right, enough for results, you will also certainly obtain it if you wish to be rich, you will be rich. If you wish to be learned, you will be learned. If you wish to be good, you will be good. I want you to stop and think what we have previously discussed and how to apply it to your life. The key is whatever you think to become, if you envision its true form, you will become it. And I have said this to people many, many times. If you have positive, clear, vivid pictures, if your mind, in your mind of what our purpose is, right? As the Nubian nation, right? Or the Nubian nation. Or for instance, like Masonic lodges, Shriners, Eastern Stars, and Shriner ladies. Now, mind you, a lot of our people is in these Masonic temples, shrines, Eastern Stars, and organizations, right? That is of a different school of thought other than the school of thought of the master teacher, where he created certain temples of learning for us as us having a place to come to for as a means of having a creative environment for us to go to be progressive and grow it through the teachings by him creating an environment or us creating environments, you know what I'm saying, for proper knowledge of self-cultivation. But yet, you know what I'm saying, like he say, certain orders that he created that may have them names, but they differ from the Masonic, Eastern Star, Shriner, or lodges, or Shriner lady organizations that other people have under them particular names, where the ones that he made are of a Nuwabian right knowledge school of thought perspective. So with that said, if you know your goals and our purpose, then you have set a target before you as far as having a goal in mind to pursue, to accomplish righteously, right? And if you prepare yourself as an archer and practice and become talented and skilled, don't be a phony. Be the real deal. Then chances are you are the success of your bow and arrow and destination. Its target will become a complete idea. Our organization can only become a complete idea or reality if we, the archers, practice to increase our skill and ability to hit targets when we shoot. So, with that in mind, we will accomplish our goals with that particular focus. We are setting out to save a people that do not have faith in themselves. It's amazing the destruction of the mind that have took place with our people, a lot of our people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see what's going on out here? You know what I'm saying? We are setting out to save a people that do not have faith in themselves and putting the Rab, Esau, Messiah, Lord Jesus, the Messiah, or Yahshua first in their lives. And all things will be possible. You know what I'm saying? Not dealing with these false charlatan teachings that contribute to the falsification of black people consciousness in the society, or the falsification of sincere seekers of the truth consciousness. You know what I'm saying? With information that throw them off the that make misinformed, that throw them off course. You know what I'm saying? Where they don't be in alignment with the truth of these messianic teachings. You know what I'm saying? So We are setting out to save a people that do not have faith in themselves. You know what I'm saying? And putting they trust in the real creator. You know what I'm saying? So we first must know ourselves and instill in our future, which are our children, know themselves that they are the greatest of the great. They are the chosen children of all times, the builders of the pyramids and many mounds all over the world. They are from the seed that gave birth to messiahs and great men and women. Now, and therefore, through the guidance, right? Through the guidance and light of the real Messiah, the master teacher, right? The guidance and light of Arab Isa Masih, right? Yahshua the Messiah. In other language, people can understand the real Jesus, the real black Jesus, and discrimination, and the real black Jesus, right? The Messiah, and that faith and determination. We will succeed when we put God in front of us. God can't fail. You had to become a man to be enslaved by any. None can enslave you. If God be for us, who can be against us? No one. So, in light of resisting against oppression, right? It's just a foul to want to be a revolutionary and have a revolutionary mind to resist against something that is designed to abuse and misuse you. You know what I'm saying? So through us having a mentality, you know what I'm saying, to be free thinkers, you know what I'm saying, we will do free things with respect, you know what I'm saying, in all walks of life from people, you know what I'm saying? With a reputation, you know what I'm saying, for not playing no games, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to us living our best life. Now, you know what? Let me see. I want to go into detail, right, about the reality of today's news. To shift gears for a minute, let's take this deeper. Let's go deeper. Now, we can accomplish what we will and be successful through self-determination. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Through self-determination, trying to get this light right. We can accomplish what we will. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this lighting right. Okay, that's better. Okay, now another thing I advise y'all, right, to invest in y'all a crystal Bible. Everything you need to know about crystals. You know what I'm saying? Because we're powering up out here. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get off into the crystal Bible too. But I want to touch on the reality about, are there UFOs and extraterrestrials in our midst? Now, excuse me. Look, the powerful teachings, right, by Partner Babby, I know him. He really set the record straight. He really set the record straight, right? You know what I'm saying? With us feeding our minds and being brought up to speed, you know what I'm saying, with information that connects us to the ancient ones. You know what I'm saying? And we the descendants of the ancient ones, where we have this golden blood running through us, right? Like the scripture was talking about, you know what I'm saying? The Most High wouldn't have us in ignorance, right? Now dig this, right? The master teacher comprehends certain time zones to where we are in a alignment time to go higher as a people. Now you can do certain comparisons out here where outside of what he teaching regarding Nuwapu, Wusabat, we're going Nuwapu, right? Ain't nobody even coming close to this. So by our minds being reconditioned, like when Farrakhan was talking about how, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about the black man and woman, right? Here in the wilderness of North America, right, has to be completely re-educated. Now, even the school systems of the European orientation here in America regarding the public schools and stuff like that, and the colleges and universities that we attend or went through or is going to now, right, is not teaching from the terminologies of how the master teacher convey information to us. Now look at this, right? Check this out. The subject of UFOs, right, and the existence of extraterrestrials actually in your midst or in our midst, right? In our midst, right, is one of the most controversial as well as phenomenal topics in hundreds of books, documentaries, and movies. Scripts have been written based on actual facts brought forth by those who have been part of a UFO experience. For 25 years, I, Dr. Malachi Z. York, have been telling you that there are extraterrestrial beings from other planets that incarnate and visit your planet. Our planet is, look, they everywhere. Look, this planet houses beings of higher intelligence, right? Now, I, Dr. Malachi Z. York, have been telling you that there are extraterrestrial beings from other planets that incarnate and visit your planet. Within the past 3 years, there haven't been any information readily available to the public about extraterrestrials. Now, when you look around, information is popping up everywhere or coming from every direction. And now that you've seen more and more reports popping up every day on the news, on the radio, in the newspapers, magazines, and people are giving testimonials about their existence and their encounters with UFOs and extraterrestrial beings. It is becoming more and more a reality to you. To many of you, the idea of UFOs or extraterrestrials existing seems to be a harmless hoax, right? The others who have actually experienced an encounter it is very real. As strange as all of this may sound, it is a fact that they, meaning UFOs and extraterrestrial beings, do exist. Well, they don't have to convince me. You know what I'm saying? I know they exist. Common sense. It's just using common sense. And actually, me, you know what I'm saying, witnessing, you know what I'm saying, UFOs on a few occasions. One of them I recorded though, and you can view it on my YouTube page, you know what I'm saying, right? Where I recorded it, you know what I'm saying, and you can see it for yourself, you know what I'm saying, from one of my experiences. And it was some other people who posted on Facebook that day of seeing the same IFO that I had seen, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you mean to tell me they didn't have like media coverage of that? So it's like in this era of time, it's still like cover-ups of things, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of us people out here and other, you know, people witnessing and seeing these crafts, you know what I'm saying? So yes, indeed, they are indeed very real, right? Now, everyday countless reports, right, from across the globe are made public concerning UFOs, right? Okay, what are UFOs? The word UFO is an abbreviation for the word unidentified flying objects. The scientific definition of UFO is simply an object which has a radar reading but refuses to identify itself on ground or in the air. Over 133 countries are experiencing UFO sightings, and in the last 3 decades alone, there have been more than 70,000 reported cases. Many UFO sightings have been written off or attributed to satellites, right? Atmospheric illusions, meteorites, stars, planets, high altitude balloons. Aircrafts. You know what I'm saying? They always trying to make people act like they ain't see what they seen, you know what I'm saying? And to you know what I'm saying, to school, you know what I'm saying, to make obscure, you know what I'm saying, uh, you know, stuff that, you know, was real, you know what I'm saying, to make it look like it was something other than what it was. They good at putting spins on things. UFOs have been seen and photographed by people from every walk of life: astronauts, airline pilots, policemen, astronomers, housewives, meteorologists, farmers, people like us, you know what I'm saying? The gods and goddesses, just to name a few. And people of every race and religion, right? They have been photographed by Polaroid cameras to still cameras caught on film, tracked by ground bases and airborne radar, right? Yet the question remains, right? Do UFOs really exist? See how people can get gaslighted? Look, the gaslighting abilities of these particular forces out here that do the gaslighting, you know what I'm saying, to get you to erase your memory, you know what I'm saying, is very, very effective. And the methods they use on those, you know what I'm saying, who I guess weak-minded enough to fall for that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But no, we know for a fact, you know what I'm saying, people regarding us that's in our right mind know it's bigger than this out here. You know what I'm saying? It's more to what, you know what I'm saying, we've been seeing in his life. Right? And then, like you say, do so after the confirmation and evidence of the reality of these what they call anomalies, you know what I'm saying? Like things occurring that don't happen every day, but now, you know what I'm saying, it's really more common than not common. You know what I'm saying? To experience or see these 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 crafts or things regarding, you know what I'm saying, the beings that exist. You know what I'm saying? That's considered extraterrestrials. Okay, now like this continue to say, right? Now after all of this like caught on film and everything and people experiencing these realities, right, tracked by ground bases, by military sources and airborne radar, yet the question remains, do UFOs really exist? Are there really beings in these unidentified flying objects? Right? Where did these crafts and beings come from and why? Are the extraterrestrials here to help us or harm us? Should should you fear extraterrestrials or welcome them? Question. Right? What are extraterrestrials? Answer. You have the letters ET, right? The acronym for extraterrestrials or extraterrestrials meaning extra. Beings that are on the planet Earth that are astral or of or from the stars, right? The stars, right? When you look at the very word planet, you see the word plan and ET. Hence, anything that is not an original part of the planet Earth is considered extraterrestrial here, or what you recognize to be extraterrestrial. So an extraterrestrial can be anything from a meteorite or a comet to a being from another planet. It is just something extra that has come into the atmosphere of the earth. The word extra is self-explanatory, right? It means more it means more than is needed or should occupy. Terrestrial is the opposite of celestial. Terrestrial means earthly, to reside within the Earth's atmosphere. So you have extra beings in the terrestrial environment called the planet Earth. Now, terrestrial means of this world, right? Mundane, right? Of this world, right? Something of this earth. Question. What does celestial mean? Celestial pertains to the skies, the heavens, right? Okay. Question. So, are there really UFOs and extraterrestrial beings in our midst? Answer. Most definitely. Most definitely. Right? However, there are people that want you to believe that there is no tangible evidence regarding the sightings of these flying objects and their occupants. Not to mention there has been numerous accounts of UFOs, right? Unidentified flying objects. There are now IFOs, identified flying objects. Unaccountable burns in the ground or animals, right? Mutilations, neither of which can be explained. An actual sighting of an extraterrestrial by an individual or individuals. An actual abduction of an individual by an extraterrestrial or extraterrestrials regarding abductions, right? Although you have been led to believe that extraterrestrials do not really exist, they are classified militarily, right? You have developed a system wherein you classify and categorize the types of encounters you have with an extraterrestrial, which is a subtle confession that you know or they know they really do exist. You classify them as close encounters of the first kind. You already know I'm about to go there. We seen the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You know what I'm saying? Right. Close Encounters of the First Kind. Right? Or the second kind. Or third kind. And the fourth kind. Question. What is a close encounter of the first kind? Okay. Close encounters of the first kind, CE1, right? Where there is no physical interaction between the object and the inhabitants of Earth. The individual sees the object from a distance. There have been hundreds of thousands of encounters of this type, right? Then they got pictures, you know what I'm saying, of the CE1s, right? CE1s. And this picture was taken by a doctor, right? Khrushchevist of the Soviet Union took photographs over province of Azerbaijan, Russia, and this was back in July 27, 1977. And this other picture here, these are just a few of the crafts people say they saw. A triangular shaped craft caught on film, right, by this person in '68. This craft was photographed at 11 p.m. and August 6, 1982 in Brazil. They were bigger objects. They were bigger objects flying in the sky, all looking like comets, with smaller ones flying along or inside their tails. Some disc-shaped UFOs could be seen flying and landing in different areas. Yeah, I got enough time. Okay. There was a close encounter between a disc-shaped object and a circling object. Took place over Gulf Breeze, Florida in '94. This photograph pictured below, along with many others, were taken by an anonymous Alabama tourist passing through the town. A dome-shaped disc being circled by an aircraft. There are crafts being seen and reported all over the world. Oakland, Jalisco, Mexico. In Mexico. Another one to Tulancingo, Hidalgo, Mexico. A picture above. The picture above is well known. The lights were seen in August 51 in Lubbock, Texas. The Mirror, the Air Force said that they were duck bellies. However, Air Force's investigators were not able to convince 6 college professors that they had that they had not seen UFOs. They said it was duck bellies. Really? The other one was in Sandys, New Mexico. Peralta, New Mexico. And this other photo was taken by Billy Myers, who says he is a contactee for beings from Pleiades, right? Other photos in Alabama, Mexico, South Carolina, and what's this in England, in England, which is near Stonehenge. Regarding the CE1 Close Encounters #1, right? Question: are all of these crafts from other galaxies? Answer: that is a good question. All of these crafts are not from other galaxies. Some of them are authentic and some of them are not. 60% of the crafts that are seen flying are made right here on Earth, and others are the results of extraterrestrials crashing. Their crafts are picked up and test flown by the Air Force pilots, right? Question: are there actual crafts that are being worked on here on Earth? Answer: yes. The flying of these recovered crafts are an actual project that is going on right now. From these crafts, they have developed extremely advanced super technology based on the artifacts recovered from various crashes. Right? There are special projects made specifically for the purpose of flying crafts recovered from crashes. One such project is called Project Red Light, and also Snowbird. Originally established in Nevada in 1972, involves flying actual IFOs that have been recovered in crash landings on Earth. There is one highly publicized case concerning an independent contractor, scientist, and businessman by the name of Robert Bob Lazar. Lazar was called by the Department of Naval Intelligence, right, to work on advanced propulsion systems in 1988 until early 1989 at Area 51 slash S-4, also called Groom Lake, right? The Ranch, Watertown, the Area, the Spot, Blue Diamond, Red Square. One of the craft Lazar claims that he worked on at Area 51. In Dreamland in Nellis, Nevada, it is marked on maps, right? It is marked on maps of the test site as Dreamland. It is one of the most top secret classified operation bases, right? This is a view of the Russian blimp during the evening hours. This same Russian blimp during the daylight hours inside the base complex. If you saw this in the sky, wouldn't you mistake it for an alien flying saucer? That's how I look in the day and night. Well, a person can, even though it's made here on Earth, but it'll, you know what I'm saying, pass for like, wow, that's a UFO, you know what I'm saying? But the fact remains that extraterrestrial beings is amongst us. Now, these particular man-made crafts, you know what I'm saying? The Mahler M200X is an 8-machine one-man craft that flew stably and demonstrated technologies for the skies, new age space cockpits. These newly designed cockpits will give the pilot more comfort in its pressurized chamber, which eliminates the need to wear the awkward breathing apparatus. Tier 3 minus. Yes. Yet, many try to deny the existence of UFOs, unidentified flying objects. However, these alien crafts really do exist. In 1957, a photograph of an IFO identified flying object was taken in Lake Isabella, California. As reported by Nick Pope of the British Ministries of Defense, an airship or non-alien craft was being operated by humans over the United Kingdom. Non-alien aircraft seen flying over the United Kingdom, reported by Nick Pope of the British Ministries of Defense. The craft is still being developed by Boeing and Lockheed, who are two of the many leading manufacturing companies in the United States. Its function will be to fly through the stratosphere, collecting data that will be relayed to ground crews, while the information will be processed and then given to the decision makers. The decision makers, right? Okay, Sikorsky cipher. The Sikorsky cipher was a craft that that measured 6 feet in diameter. It was unmanned and controlled robotically and tested flying techniques for a sky car. The V7 9V Avrocar, right? A 10-foot circular ring with a 5-foot fan surrounded by jets rose 5-6 feet off the ground and began to wobble. Its stability was tested in the wind tunnel and it failed. So it was abandoned on December 1961 AD, costing $10 million. Now, this gentleman, Robert Lazar, was hired by Edward Teller, who is called the father of the H-bomb and father of the Star Wars program, which was finished in '84. He was assigned to work on a project, Galileo, which was devoted to the study of 9 different types of disc-shaped extraterrestrial crafts. He was assigned to one of the crafts that had, hold on, I gotta get some water. Man, I'm good. I think I'm water. All right. This gentleman, right? He was assigned to one of the crafts that had seats made for beings who are no more than the height of children. The height of children. Wow. That's deep. It's all kind of realities amongst. Hey, yo. This alternative knowledge, right, is very interesting. Imagine what the intelligence communities know about, think about, and deal with on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? As far as like society maintaining order. You know what I'm saying? And for a lot of us, as far as the American people, you know what I'm saying, who is up in knowledge to where we represent high principles of civilization, may, you know, we maintain being good tillers of the land. You know what I'm saying? Where humanity is living for, of, and by each other on a grander level regarding, like, say that, like when we use the term grand rising, you know what I'm saying? We are increasing in wisdom and higher levels of consciousness, you know, through really understanding what it really means to operate through the crystal city of our mind. You know what I'm saying? Christ conscious crystallization of right knowledge and truth that breeds a better reality regarding the permutation of the human species. You know what I'm saying? Because this reality is deeper and beyond. It's deeper than just the colonialism, the imperialism by colonizers, the racism, the papal bulls of the Roman Catholic Church that supported the doctrine of discovery doctrine. You know what I'm saying? That have, through the Inquisitions, you know what I'm saying, that wreaked havoc in a lot of cultures, to where these cultures, you know what I'm saying, has been reborn, you know what I'm saying, into positions of power, you know what I'm saying, to shake off, you know what I'm saying, those things, you know what I'm saying, that disrupted, you know what I'm saying, the cultural norms that wasn't supposed to be disrupted in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So, certain defects in humanity, you know what I'm saying, that the master teacher talk about, that has to be corrected. You know what I'm saying? Indeed, is something that has to be taken into consideration through what he came to give us. Through what he came to give us, right? Regarding the realities of ourselves through the extraterrestrial doctrine of truth and right knowledge, which is a cure and a remedy, you know what I'm saying, you know, to get our attitudes right and our spirits right, you know what I'm saying, by being practitioners of higher learning, you know what I'm saying. So just continue to read though, right? In a report that Robert Lazar read, it was stated that the disk came from the fourth planet of the binary star Zeta Reticuli 2. He described the outside of the particular craft he worked on as being 15 feet tall and 52 feet in diameter, with the appearance of brushed stainless steel or aluminum with no visible seams, no welds, no rivets, and no bolts. It looked as if it were injection molded. The discs are powered by an antimatter reactor that sits on top of a hemisphere the size of a basketball that sits in the floor, and the reactor produces its own gravitational field. The saucer ran by a gravity amplifier that uses gravity waves the way microwaves are used on the planet Earth. The disk utilized a super heavy element 115, which can't be found naturally on this planet Earth. These crafts run in two modes. This element 115 that is not radioactive in this state. One is Omicron mode, which uses the gravity amplifier. This enables the craft to hover and move left or right and nothing else. The Delta mode, where all three amplifiers must be powered up and fixed on a location. In order to leave the atmosphere, these alien saucers were able to generate their own gravity field and control space and time. This shows the intelligence Earth, which is very primitive. Wait a minute. This shows the intelligence of Earth, which is very primitive in comparison to other planets and civilizations. There are some civilizations that have 600 elements, which are not just natural but created by the beings that live there. While Lazar was working on the project, he was under strict surveillance. His phone calls were being monitored. Like so many others, Lazar began to fear for his life and decided to tell the public about what is going on. Lazar knew the test flight schedule of the crabs and took some people into the desert to see some of the crabs from a distance. They were eventually caught after several times, and he was turned in. He was debriefed and threatened the first time, and that's when he decided to go public with his story. What is so ironic is the Air Force claims that Robert Lazar never worked at Nellis Air Force Base, yet his name is listed in an old base phone book. Bob Lazar has also given information about autopsies that were performed on alien bodies that is reluctant to talk about. Let me see. Hold on. Bob Lazar has also given information about autopsies that was performed on alien bodies, but is reluctant to talk about the aliens he had seen at Groom Lake. Right? Now, this individual, you know what I'm saying, and countless others, you know what I'm saying, for security reasons, right? You know what I'm saying? It's relevant for security reasons. You know, we see why certain governmental institutions, you know what I'm saying, would like to keep a lid on certain realities to make sure things is not a threat to the public, you know what I'm saying, which is necessary, you know what I'm saying, for life as we know it, because these beings, you know what I'm saying, we may be in awe, oh wow, you know what I'm saying, look at that UFO, you know, extraterrestrial beings, you know what I'm saying, and fascinated by that reality of intelligent life, you know what I'm saying, entering our Earth's atmosphere, but we don't know their intentions. You know what I'm saying? Their intentions can be pure evil to to cause harm, God forbid, you know what I'm saying? But the military personnel and a lot of our intelligence communities is very wise to them possibilities. So it's applauded and necessary, you know what I'm saying, to take measures of secrecy about certain things when it comes to extraterrestrials, you know what I'm saying? Even though, you know what I'm saying, governments of the planet communicate and interact with them, you know what I'm saying, there is protective regulations to make sure, you know what I'm saying, certain bounds don't get crossed when dealing with these beings, you know what I'm saying, regarding technology. But in all actuality, who can we trust? We can trust people to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying, with they certain positions of power, but it's also, you know, talks about certain trade-offs for technology. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Regarding, certain secret deals with these beings. You know what I'm saying? Which can go down a darker road. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, like when they talk about, the rabbit hole goes deep. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it does go deep. Go deep. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to come out that rabbit hole with proverbial wisdom where you can see through the deceptions on the surface. You know what I'm saying? To make sure we are secure. Just like the military personnels and the branches of government, you know what I'm saying, is about the, where safety is always first with what we dealing with out here. Or like a business. Safety is always first when dealing with prospects or clientele of, you know what I'm saying, of a business service, you know what I'm saying, for the person you're doing business with, because safety is always a primary importance when dealing with one another. My dealings with I got to make sure I'm safe in my dealings with what I'm dealing with, and I got to care about the well-being or safety of this person too. You know what I'm saying? In dealing with them. And they have to think in that light about themselves and how they interact with others too about our safety. Our safety out here comes first when we socializing out here and interacting out here. You know what I'm saying? So we would like for us to, our comings and goings to be safe, a safe process. Going to and fro. Being safe to and fro. You know what I'm saying? Well wishing for people to have safe travels and, you know what I'm saying? Or thinking in life for, people to be out here safe in life. You know what I'm saying? With what we, is dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So, on that note, right? I'm going to resume this communication. You know what I'm saying? Regarding the realities of these beings amongst us. You know what I'm saying? And how to, keep things in its proper perspective. But in addition to that, you know what I'm saying, may we reach our goals in terms of things that we strive to do to be a success, being part of a progressive environment, an environment that is safe, that we can grow in, that nurture our desire to be successful in the things that we want to do, in life in general. You know what I'm saying? And not be a failure. You know what I'm saying? So think highly of yourselves. We can succeed as a result of the proverb that the master teacher was speaking on, Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinketh, so is he. As a woman thinketh, so is she. Right? So, being a product of our thoughts create reality, as opposed to being programmed, right, by information to be used by someone else. You know what I'm saying? From a negative angle, to use you. When we are not to be used, we are to be respected and protected. You know what I'm saying? With positive etiquette. You know what I'm saying? About how we deal with one another. You know what I'm saying? So peace, love, and light. Positive energy activate constant elevation. You know what I'm saying? Proverbs 23:7. As a man or woman thinketh, so are he or she. Ponder on them things that purifies and empowers. You know what I'm saying? Structured around love, baby, which is the highest form of positive energy. And by all means, stay strong. You know what I'm saying? And know that we are loved. Despite all this hating going on out here, know that we are loved. Just connect with the people that got sense. You know what I'm saying? Such as good brothers, such as myself, John, the Nubian winner, baby. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna steer you wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here standing for what's right as a revolutionary of complete positive change. You know what I'm saying? In this golden age that we living in. Peace and love, you know what I'm saying? And peace, love, and light. You know what I'm saying? And feel good about yourself with positive emotional intelligence. Peace and love.